Komiteen for fengslede forfattere, som dere kanskje kjenner til, som under Norsk PEN. Jeg sitter i denne komiteen, og som dere kanskje vet, så arbeider vi jo spesielt for skribenter som fengslet for sitt bruk av pennen til ytringsfrihet. Det som vi har snakket en del om det siste året at det finnes jo de som bruker denne pennen i ytringsfrihetens navn, som også ikke bare skriver, men illustrerer. Så vi ønsket å vie en kveld i sin helhet til dem. Så det derfor vi her i dag. Dere skal få møte 4 tegnere. En av dem norsk, men andre har kommet hit, nettopp fordi de har brukt pennen på denne måten. Og så skal jeg se på jukselappen min. Dere skal få møte først Ali Dorani og Arifur Rahman. Så blir det Fadi Hassan og Marvin Halleraker. Og det Kjersti Løken Stavrum som modererer denne kvelden. Så det greit å nevne at vi tar det på engelsk, for det litt varierende hvor lenge de som sitter på scenen her har vært i Norge. Så derfor så kjører vi hele kvelden på engelsk. Men da håper jeg at dere vil kose dere, og så vil jeg bare ønske Kjersti opp, og våre 2 første, Arifur og Ali. Go ahead. Yeah, thanks. Yes.
Challenge is to speak directly into the microphone. It's the order from behind there. Yeah. So we will have 2 sessions then. First now with Arifur and Ali, and then we will change the people upstairs here. Both conversations will resemble each other, I would say. We will focus on what you have been drawing, why you did it, and the consequences of this drawing. And Arifur, you're from Bangladesh?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm very much looking forward to showing your cartoon. But first I will mention Ali, that was a refugee from Iran, had to flee the country, but you hadn't drawn before you left, had you?
Not a refugee from Iran, actually, a refugee from Australia.
Yeah, that's true, that's true. Yeah. You came to Australia.
Yeah, I went to Australia first. Yeah.
And there you started drawing.
Yeah, I got in Australia imprisoned me for years, and I started drawing to save myself, and it helped me a little bit. I'm in safety now.
Yeah, right. Both of you are, and we are happy to have you here. We will come back to you, but we will start with Arifur and this very controversial drawing that I'm about to show to the audience now. A drawing that made huge problems for you. So you have to explain now. What did you think when you made this? And can you also draw us through it, since maybe not all is capable of seeing what you've written?
Actually, that was a satire cartoon based on his jokes. In Bangladesh or India, you know that in before 48 we was same country. It's called India, and most of the problem happened in Bengal province of India between Hindu and Muslim. We look everyone same. We have same kind of name, but only different. If you put Muhammad in front of Ola, it's going to be identified as a Muslim. If you put Sri, it's going to be identified as a Hindu. So that's a joke. So it started, since then we started using Muhammad. So it can be reason that on this time our leader of Muslim group of people was Muhammad Ali Jinnah. It's not because of Muhammad Prophet. It is because of Muhammad Ali Jinnah. People started using Muhammad because they belongs to Muhammad Ali Jinnah. And Hindu started using Sri because Sri Mohanchand Gandhi is, we know Gandhi as a Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma is a title, and his actual name is Sri Mohanchand Gandhi. So Hindus started using Sri. Some name we have just like Ola, Nurman. We have some kind of name in Bengal, who is actually name of people from Bengal. So if you put Muhammad, it's going to be look like Muslim. So these jokes actually based on folk jokes. So there in this comic strip you can see a conversation between an old man and a boy. So old man asks, "What's your name?" And we can see that old man look like a Muslim mullah. So say, "What's your name?" Bahakadu. So then Barnasa Babu. So Babu are in Banli now. So they can be Hindu or Muslim. Is Setter Fransiri Hindu, is Muhammad Muslim. So then Bana learned, this boy learned from this old man that I have to use Muhammad before saying any name. So that he started this rule in every name. So there is some Gilreth, for example. So, but he didn't use it. He used Muhammad before cat. So it was the problem. So Muslim people, most of the religious people, they don't read comic, they don't read satire. So, but they hear from person to person. In Norway, there is a folk story. Et fjær kan være 5 hånd. So there was some situation. People didn't see what I draw, but they heard from Imam in mosque that I draw Muhammad as a cat. Some say he said Muhammad was a cat. Some say he draw Muhammad as a cat. So it started his problem. People started demonstration.
But I will just ask you, when you did this cartoon and when he explains that the cat is Muhammad cat, did you think of that as a potential troublemaker for you?
No, actually, this joke was published in 1998 in another Islamic magazine. Even you can find these jokes in comic book, in jokes book, in different way. I just make in format in my way because I have to have 4 box and I have to use it on my comic. So I just make it on my own version. Instead of fish, I just said Muhammad cat.
Okay, so but you hadn't drawn this before. Someone else did this humor before. Yeah.
Yeah, but these jokes is folk jokes. Just few minutes that I explained our history of Bengali, Muslim and Hindu about separation. So that's a folk jokes. I don't have any credit. I just have a credit that I sense instead of I sense fish into cat because this boy has a cat. So that's my creativity and I just draw these images. That's my creativity.
And it was published in the paper that you were working in.
Yes.
Yes. And what happened, and when did things start to happen?
I'd like to say something about my background. Yeah. I myself from a Muslim family and I grown up as a practice Muslim. I used to pray 5 times in a day. It was the Ramadan period and I was celebrating Ramadan. I was very much religious and my background, my grandfather also a Maulana or Mullah. So my background is very much Muslim family. So I didn't mean anything to insult anyone or any faith. I respect everyone. So I didn't know that it's going to be make problem. I just use these jokes. Sometimes when we make comic, sometimes we use jokes from jokes and we just make on our way. So make something, add some text or make some present in different way and we just make a new story or new jokes, new way we present. But I didn't know that it can make problem.
But there was no discussion about this cartoon before it was published either?
So, no, people start marking that insulting prophet, that people can insult Muhammad. They start marking since 2005. Because of this Danish cartoonist, he draw Muhammad. Even on this time, I was very much religious and I live in mosque. So Imam said that we have to demonstrate because we have to stand for our prophet. Somebody from Denmark, he draw Muhammad, but I don't know what he draw. But I was on this demonstration against this Danish cartoonist. I was in this demonstration because this mullah said, and we have lots of mosques. And
so you were also demonstrating against the Muhammad?
I didn't see anything. Yes,
you were really one of them. That's
yes, because mullah said that we have to show our solidarity for Muhammad. So we have to stand for Muhammad. We have to go outside. We have to, after praying Jummah Friday, and we have to stand for this prophet. So after 2 years, in 2007, it was demonstration against me. So it was very funny. But 2005, I didn't know it can happen something, and I didn't know what they draw. And then I realized that people who started a demonstration against me, they don't know what I draw, but they're standing there demonstrating hang Arifur Rahman in front of prison. When I'm in prison, every Friday they come and they demonstrate hang Arifur Rahman. Even 700 imam, they write a fatwa that I'm not Muslim any longer and I'm allowed to be killed in Sharia law.
And you were pretty close as well in the prison, weren't you?
Yes, I've been arrested and tortured and 6 months and 2 days in detention. And none of lawyers stand for me.
No lawyers?
No lawyers in the beginning. So everyone refused because they think I created a huge problem in country. Muslim people demonstrating, and if any lawyer stand for me, they can get problem. So my cousin, he tried to contact, but no one.
Your cousin?
Yes.
And did he have any background of helping you in any?
My cousin tried to help me.
Yeah, but he was professional in any
he's a businessman.
Yeah.
So none of the lawyer, when they heard about my background, about this case, then everyone just refused. After 2 months, a lady come and she said she going to set me free from prison, but it sounds look like fairy tale. And I know that I'm going to be killed or I'm going to hanged because police.
Would people recognize you on the street? Were your case that?
No.
Well, no.
When I draw, after that, when this problem started, even police, they don't know how Arifur Rahman look like. But they know my name, Arifur Rahman, because I created a name since 2004 to 2006. I draw for several newspaper and I got 3 awards for my cartoon, anti-corruption cartoon. So people know the name Arifur Rahman, but they don't know how Arifur Rahman look like. So police come and asking me, who is Arifur Rahman? I said, I'm Arifur Rahman. They crime police. So they look at me from my foot to head and say, you have to come with us. You created problem. And when I've been in police station, it was a special detective police. The chief of the police, he said to this policeman that you're going to be rewarded. It sounds like I am a big top terror or something, and they catch me, and that's why they're going to be rewarded. But police on this time tried to say that if you say that it was idea from newspaper editor, we're going to set you free, and we will take action against newspaper.
But you didn't say that.
No, I said no. It was not idea from the newspaper editor. It was my idea to draw this using these jokes on my drawing, and I didn't know it's going to be something like this. And now I feel that I'm really sorry about this, which happened, because Muslim people thought that I insulted their faith. So I apologize, and they said it's very late. Were the crowd, were the audience, were they interested in your excuse in any way? Or did you feel that someone wanted to listen to what you had to say to defend the cartoon? Or no one listened. Even when I've been in police station, I saved the editor. Actually, it was responsibility of what they're going to publish. It was editor's responsibility, not mine. I have right to draw whatever I like, but editor responsibility is whatever they're going to publish.
The editor, did he support?
Editor didn't support me. After when I was arrested, But I'm giving every information that now police going to send me in prison, please help me. They don't respond to my call, but I'm just keep sending SMS. But next day I find in newspaper front page that editor said apologize. Editor said that he don't know me and he don't have any relation with me. I'm not part of this newspaper, and it was by mistake and they published my drawing. And in future they're not going to publish my cartoon anymore, and I'm someone else. And actual criminal is arrested, just come down. So something like this.
So he made your situation worse.
So he made my situation worse. When I was in prison, I got attacked several times. And I think I'm very much lucky to be alive from this prison, from this type of attack. But I didn't get any support from this newspaper. They just
if we fast forward a little bit, how did you end up in Norway?
Actually, it was when I've been in prison. Then I got an email from Cartoonist Right Network International, Robert Russell. So one day my lawyer gave me an email. It was in English. So I attended in court. So he gave me the copy of email. Then I read and I got a hope. And he said, "Don't give up hope. We are with you. We are." We support you and we're going to set you free. It's something like I am hopeless. On this time someone give me hope. Don't give up. So
and then you'd been detained for like 6 months or something?
6 months and 2 days. When I went free, then I got another problem. Another court convicted me for 2 months prison for same cartoon. Already High Court give me free for this cartoon and this problem. So another lawyer court convicted me, then I got another problem, and still I understand that some people looking for me, extremist Muslim people. So then I contact to Cartoonist Right Network International, and they work with ICON, International Cities of Refuge Network. Then I got email from PEN, Norsk PEN. It was someone from PEN. So he write me email, then I show this email to Northern Embassy. They give me a visa, and at the end I came in Norway as a freebie forfatter.
Freebie forfatter, yeah. Can we just have a short glimpse of other drawings that you've made, because this was the fatal one. Explain when did you draw this one?
This actually a real story. When every time when I've been in prison from prison to court, then 2, 3 or 4 policemen they are there, and I'm going. It look like I'm a godfather or mafia or something like this. There he was policeman. I'm a small guy. And people used curious, who is this guy? What he did? Is he a terrorist? So somebody said, no, he is a cartoonist.
And then he understood how dangerous you were.
Yeah. So
this is much nicer though.
That's a political cartoon about Bangladeshi politics. So there is a opposition party and Islamic party leader, they are actually together, and this umbrella is made in Pakistan. Long ago, 40 years ago, it was part of Pakistan, but this party is still trying to establishing Islamic country in Bangladesh and country like Pakistan in Bangladesh. So it was a...
Has this been printed?
It was a book cover. I draw for a book illustration. As an illustration, it was published in 2016 in book fair.
Yeah,
as a book cover.
And here you are, I guess.
Yeah, that's actually me. That's a digital version. Original version I sent to the Cartoonist Right Network, and then they sold it. but that's a emails from prison, how I live in prison. So there is some mouse, and sometimes they come. Actually, I was not afraid of them because I was alone and I was always all the time I was locked. I used to call this guard, please just lock me, because I was attacked several times. If the door is open, if somebody come and kill me, I can lose my life.
There is an incident there where you are praying, right?
Yeah, and I'm drawing even. This drawing pen and papers was from another prisoner. He was one of the richest guy of Bangladesh.
One of the richest guys.
Yeah, he been in prison because corruption. He invest money in political party. So he gave me a drawing and everything. He said that everyone can draw, but everyone cannot draw from prison. If you draw, and I draw for him, and he gave some money in my family as a support, and he said someday when you will be a famous artist, then I will sell this drawing in auction.
Okay.
So it was his investment. He is actually a businessman in overall.
Do you still have contact with him, or
Yes.
has he been profiting from your drawings?
No, I have contact when I was free.
Yeah.
He was the first person contacted me and invited me for dinner in his house, and on this time no one gives me a job. Every editor, they said they will never publish my cartoon anymore, but he gave me a job in his company. I work in few months. He just gave me some money, as a pocket money. I did nothing, but he just gave me money. But I think I talked to him that I want to do something. I don't want to take money just for doing nothing. I want to do something. Then he gave me a job and he gave me support me a small money.
That's nice.
Yeah.
One nice person. And what's happening here?
And that's a cartoon about freedom of expression in Bangladesh.
Or the lack of it?
Yeah, and in background you can see a map. That's actually a map of Bangladesh. So freedom of expression in Bangladesh. This character represent to journalist, blogger, writer, artist, cartoonist. Yeah.
Yeah. Whoever. And here we are more.
And that's a political cartoon based on Norwegian politics.
Starting making trouble in Norway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This drawing was published in several newspapers. I draw for a writer, journalist. He used this drawing as a kommunesamling.
Kommunesammenslåing. Yeah. What's the English word for that? Municipal fusion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Confusion maybe.
So I just visualize this drawing.
Yeah.
I just like this Stortinget is in Parliament, something like Surya Muria Slot, and there are big party going to be more stronger and small party going to be die because they're not going to get enough supporter.
The small ones are rather cute though.
Yeah.
And here we're back home.
And that's actually a drawing from. I was inspired by this painting. That's not a drawing. That's a painting. It's done by a famous Indian artist called Raja Ravi Verma. Raja is a title. Just Raja means king, but Ravi Verma was his actual name. From 1848, he was born in India. He was a famous artist for his style. But when I was a little boy, I didn't recognize those as a painting. It's somebody painted by hand. I thought it was a photograph of goddess. Actually, there's a Hindu goddess called Saraswati, goddess of education and worth. Yeah. So but some of my friend was Hindu, but in Hindu house, Muslim are not allowed. But I used to look outside window, this drawing, and I think how beautiful this drawing are. So I was very much inspired and motivated to be an artist.
Because of this?
Because of this, how this beautiful, this goddess. And another thing, this in India or Bangladesh, Hindu people pray to this picture that's drawn by someone. But they pray as a goddess. But actually this model who we see in this painting, she was not a goddess. She was a prostitute. So
a bit confusion there.
Yes.
Yeah.
But people prayed as a goddess to this model. But I didn't know on this time that it was prostitute model. But I think that this artist was really good artist. He motivated me, and on this time I used to think if I was a Hindu, I could draw. Because my grandfather, he didn't allow me to draw. Because that's forbidden in Islamic law. If I draw, so whole family going to go to hell just because of me, because I'm doing something which Sharia law don't allow. So it was forbidden. But
my last question before we move over to Ali, but how come you then started drawing?
Actually, it was inspiration, and first I draw a shoe.
Yeah.
From my book, it was class 1. We in Bangladesh, we used to use oil on hair. In Norway, we don't use oil, but we use oil. But if you put oil on paper going to be transparent. So I use oil and I draw over this drawing, and I showed to my friend, look, I draw this. And he said, no, you didn't draw it, you just copy it. It was not your drawing. You just make a copy. Then I decided, yes, he is right. Then I started drawing that I will show that I can draw without doing any copy. Then I start practice. Then I started drawing without copying anything. Then I can draw from imagine and everything. Then I show my friend and teacher. Then everyone appreciated. I was inspired to be an artist. So it was beginning with artist. Then I realized that everyone can draw. Lots of artists can draw, but everyone are not a cartoonist. In this line is less concurrenza, mindre concurrenza. Then I start drawing cartoon.
Obvious reasons, probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what did your family? The final, really, we have to move over to Ali. But the final question then is, what did your family eventually think of your career as a cartoonist? Did they support you?
My mother, she supported me when she was alive.
Yes.
And my sister, she think everything I'm doing is good. She respect me and she trust me that I'm a good person and good brother. So none of us has problem with my drawing.
Okay. And your grandfather?
He has died long.
So he wouldn't mind? No.
When he died in 2004, then I started drawing cartoon. As long as he was alive, television, radio wasn't allowed in our family, in our home.
So
when he died, television is welcome, radio welcome.
Okay. So it has more to do with him than with religion in general. Then, okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for telling us. Ali, let's start with you fleeing Iran in 2013. Isn't that so?
Yeah.
And you're ending up in Manus Island.
Yeah.
Which is not one of the nicest places on earth. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't end up as easy as the word.
Yeah.
So I escaped from my country to get in trouble, and I got in trouble, a bigger trouble in my life actually, in Australia. And when I talk about it, and people get confused when they find out that I'm a refugee. They think I flew out from my country to Norway straight away, But I was a refugee once from Iran to Australia, and then from Australia to Norway as well. So it's very unbelievable for people that Australia is like, are you making it up, or are you sure you're talking about Australia? You're not dreaming or you're not crazy? And yeah, in 2013 I had to leave my country, and I don't usually talk about it why. But the interesting story, or maybe not interesting for many people, but the interesting story is that
this is a close
it starts from when I left Iran, like getting away from trouble. And then I flew to Indonesia because it was the easiest way to get to safety for me. And when I flew to Indonesia, I was there for 40 days, and I had to wait for the smugglers to let me know when to travel to Australia by boat. And it was a really critical situation for myself because of my history. And in 2013, around 23rd of July 2013, we arrived in Australia by boat after like 60 hours in the ocean. And but 2 days before I arrived, I always used to think that I was like the lucky guy in my family.
That you were the lucky guy?
Yeah, I used to ask for anything and getting it without suffering. And I used to think that it's going to be the same when I go to Australia. And then, but when I entered Australia, it was 2 days after when Australia made this restricted refugee policy against immigrants and refugees. And then, unluckily, I was like
you were the first group after the new regime?
Yeah, like a few days late. And so they kept me there. They said I am under Australia's protection, and I was so happy because I got arrested. You know, I was so close to get arrested by somebody else's from my government. But then when I got arrested by Australia, I was like so happy. And if I asked them to bring up the interviews, I told them many times that I'm so happy that I'm arrested in Australia. Because then now I knew that nobody can take me out of Australia, you know. And but they didn't tell me how long I'm going to stay in prison. And after a while, they came to a group of immigration officers. They came to us because we were like 5,000 people. And then immigration came to us and said, we are not allowed to stay in Australia and we have to be moved to Papua New Guinea. And but I was living in Australia's border for 6 months, and I was the last person who was moved to exile as well. So see, it's not lucky at all. Yeah.
No, I'll show the first drawing.
Yeah, these are the conditions happening in where I was living in Manus
that you experienced when you then were moved.
Yeah, I experienced it with my blood. Yeah, and so I started drawing when I was in Christmas Island because I was suffering from OCD, cleaning all the time, keeping myself clean, and even if I go out of control, I clean everybody else. And
why?
Because I have like this that everybody is dirty. Not insulting, but this is like in myself. And I'm getting better, so don't be scared. So I started drawing to get rid of OCD, you know, obsessive compulsive disorder. And then the first drawing I did was about Gollum, Lord of the Rings, trying to escape from New Zealand and go to Australia by boat, take the ring with him. And Australia didn't know that the ring has got dark power and destroys humanity. And then as long as he got to Australia, they took the ring away from him, and then they filled the power, and then they threw him to Manus Island, like my story. And that cartoon got a very big impact in Christmas Island, where I arrived at first. And then I was moved to Manus Island, and I lost hope, and I was like, this is the end, because I couldn't go back home, and my family didn't know where I was. And yeah, and when I moved to Manus Island...
So is this one of your first... I mean, you start drawing. At what time do you draw this one?
This one is after Someone's Problem, like at the end actually, almost the end, before I come to Norway. And I you know, if you read news about Australia's detention centers, you see a lot of people die in detention centers because of suffering and mental illnesses. And I decided to do this and write just words, you know, because I have been doing that, like self-harming and hunger strikes and a lot of things. So it's actually a true story for myself and some other people.
So this is an extract of what you experienced
Yeah,
when you
yeah,
were
almost,
detained.
yeah.
Yeah.
And if you can see, I have like dictate mistakes as well, like English mistakes, so forgive for that.
Yeah. Well, we can live with that. But you made some other drawings as well?
Yeah, it took me a year and a half, because when I was moved to Manus Island, we didn't have access to social media, knowing nothing about what happens in the world. And then in a kind of zoo, like where you keep humans, and nobody knows about it. And then and I had access to paper.
Yeah, how come you had access to paper?
Yeah, I had access to, like, I could steal papers from workers, like if I had a chance. So
Okay.
we were like 3, and then we used to engage the officer, and one goes and steals pen and papers and come back. And because I was not allowed to have papers at first, because they knew I'm a cartoonist, and they knew I'm going to do something with the cartoons.
They knew that you would do some very, very dangerous things.
Yeah.
With
Even
pen
most
and
of the
paper.
times I used to draw just the rooms and the tents, and then they used to take it away and say this is escape plan.
Yeah.
And I don't know where to, but they were so paranoid, And then so I had paper and pencil and no eraser and only one paper. For example, I could steal one paper in 1 week. So I didn't have the chance to make mistakes while I was drawing. So I had to draw and keep the paper safe and draw without mistake. And if you see, I put a lot of words in my drawings because I didn't have other papers to put in. And so yeah, this was also one of the first cartoons I published out, but this was after 2 years and a half. Because for a year I didn't have access to social media at all, and then after that they gave us chance to have 45 minutes every week. And it was like 40 minutes goes for connecting, and 5 minutes you have the chance to log into your Facebook. And I started texting thousands of people for a year and a half. Random people on Facebook, like not knowing them, just texting them and saying that I'm a cartoonist, I live here, and nobody knows about us, And then it took
So
me
really random people. You
random
just
people. I used to
addressing
log
people.
in my Facebook and go to like Australian groups. When you go to Facebook, you can add groups, and I used to just search people there and then find them and just text them. And but I didn't get any answer after 2 years and a half from them. So, but I kept doing it for when you talk about it, it's just easy to talk about it, but it's like 1 week each time in between, and then nobody answers, and you're hopeless already, and you're sick, and so it took me 2 years and a half until somebody answered me, but not from them, from somebody else's. And then, so it means Australians were not interested in Manus Island at all. And then, so I got the answer from this Australian human rights activist. She was a poet as well, and she asked me if I can send my drawings out. And then, I didn't have camera and mobile phone. I wasn't allowed to have mobile phones, no scanner, nothing. So we had to smuggle phone inside, and we used to have cigarettes every week. But I wasn't smoking, but I used to get the cigarettes because it was like money.
Mm-hmm.
You pay to the locals and then you get things, and like jail, no drugs and everything. And then, so I collected if I calculated, it's like $500 cigarettes. And because cigarette was, each packet was 25 in Papua New Guinea. And then, so they wanted us to give them as much as cigarettes as we can, because they were also poor and they needed to have cigarette and money. They love smoke, local people in Papua New Guinea. And then, and they gave me this very low quality Chinese phone, and they said this is the best, latest version in this island. And I was like, okay.
And they were probably right about that also.
They were absolutely right, yeah. And then I took a photo of this, because it didn't look like this, because I scanned it later again. And sent it to the human rights activist, and then she put it in an exhibition in Melbourne. For first time I was published.
And then this is after 2.5 years.
2 years and a half, yeah. Because my reason wasn't being a political cartoonist. I was documenting my life every day, and it was like a newspaper for other people in the detention center, because they didn't have access to anything. So every week my cartoons come out, and everybody goes and watches. And
so you managed to get a paper every week And you draw a drawing,
No.
or no?
No. After the Melbourne exhibition,
Yeah.
a lot of people asked her, like, who is he and what is he doing, where is he? And like a lot of people start talking about it. And then that was when one of the workers in Manus Island, the people who were supposed to keep me there, he was interested in art as well. And he told me that he can smuggle my drawings out. And then he was a doctor almost, and he told me that he can smuggle my drawings out, and then he was the main person at first before I get access to like mobile phones. And so I started publishing my cartoons. It was started in protests in Australia, like all around Australia, when they wanted to do protests, they used to hold my cartoons. And then like press got attention, and then they started publishing my cartoons in the press as well in Australia. But this was like after 2 years and a half. But mid 2016 almost. And I was really sick that time. I was really sick, and because of OCD and the hunger strike, I had the first hunger strike, and it made me sick mentally, badly. And I started having seizures, and 4 seizures every day, and each time 40 minutes like falling down. And I was really famous because of that, you know. We had
That's something.
Yeah, we had military codes like code black, code blue, and code red. Code red was for fight, and code blue was for medical, and code black was for danger. And I was always on code blue. And so this was happening for a year and a half until suddenly somebody fell in love with me in detention center, because we were all boys, and we had female workers, but we were not allowed to have a relationship. And then so one of my friends, he came to me one day and he said he fell in love with me, and he was gay. After him, I told him that I'm not interested, and but they couldn't understand it, you know. They were mentally ill. And then after him started more and more, because people found out that he's getting close to me, and then other people also were in love. So they got jealous in each other and started fighting, and so much problem for me as well. And then at the same time I had like seizures and illness. So after a year taking medications, the doctors didn't know how to fix. They didn't know what to do with my situation, and they were just trying to figure out how to fix my illness. And then they gave me so much medication. And in 2016 February, one day I woke up in the morning with so much problem, and I didn't know who I am, who I was, where I was, and yeah. And then I was totally crazy.
Did you draw at this time at all?
When I was crazy?
Yeah.
Yes, I did one, because I couldn't remember anything. Like I talk to you right now, and in 5 minutes I couldn't remember. I was talking to you like really funny movies, you know. And then I could realize it, that I'm not normal, you know. I couldn't fix myself, you know. The only thing I was thinking, like, what if this doesn't be fixed and I stay like that forever? Anytime I had I used to come back to the world like for 1 minute every day, like in 24 hours. In that 1 minute, I was thinking about suicide. I was thinking about like ending this. Like I couldn't tolerate it. And I did a cartoon about the person who gave me so much medication when I was crazy. And I went to the psychiatrist, and then I couldn't talk because I couldn't remember what I was saying. But I could control my brain to draw. And then I drew myself very shaky with this nurse giving me the tablet. And then that nurse later on came to me and said, "You're making so much problem for me. Why? What is your problem with me?" And like, he couldn't even realize that I was crazy. And then,
so you tried to communicate by drawing, right?
By drawing with the psychiatrist, yeah. And they could see that I wasn't normal. I was a very clean place. I was a clean person, always cleaning myself 5 times in the shower, and spending most of my time in the laundry. And the doctor could see that I started smoking, and I started being so dirty, smelly all the time, and escaping from the detention center. And because I wanted just to see what is behind, if I want to step out of the fence, what happens. That was the only challenge I had when I was crazy, and want to step out, what happens. And then so the doctors decided to keep me in cell detention center, separate detention center, which was like cell, for 1 month and a half, locked. And then the only thing was I used to take medication and food. That was all. And sexual harassment didn't stop. I still had sexual harassment, and after 1 month and a half, I got a bit better. But then.
So that did improve your situation.
Oh yeah, I actually listened to them. I knew they were trying different drugs on different people, but I trusted them that time, and I took medication, and then it healed me. But I was not so healed, because anytime I used to go to the busy places and go to dining room to eat something, and it was so busy, I used to get blackout again. And then I used to have like officers around me just looking after me not to kill myself or harm myself. I used to like climb up the trees and just for fun, you know.
It's absurd listening to your story, do you know that? But it seems very strange when you sit here calm in Norway.
Yeah,
do you think that as well? Do you feel that as well? That it's strange?
No, inside me I'm actually dying.
Okay.
But I believe that if I can help someone with my story, because the world is not Norway. A lot of Norwegians live in peace, and that's not the world. And when I go to high schools and universities sometimes to talk to people my age and younger than me, I always tell them, like, I asked for help for 5 years, and it helped. It worked. So never lose your hope, you know. And so I passed, like, I went crazy, you know. And it's like the worst thing happened to me in my life. And when you are in that moment, it's just, I never wish it to even my enemy, because it's the worst pain. Your body is happy, your body is healthy, but your brain doesn't work. And you know it, but you can't fix it. So, yeah. And I was like that for a month and a half almost. And then after that, I started having a lot of harassments from other people, the people who were in love with me. And then, and I couldn't stop it, because, you know, when it was like they didn't even know if they were gay, if they were homosexual, they didn't know it, they were just feeling love. And then they were so nice, like, I couldn't believe it, like, they were, like, I used to think, like, they're acting to me like a girl, you know, because I talk to girls like that, you know. And then it was so strange for myself, so I started also ending up in a sexuality crisis as well, like not knowing what's going on, like, maybe it's my problem that they're always coming to me. But it wasn't only from boys, so it was from local girls and local workers as well. So it was like so much problem, and I don't know if it's because of the way I look, because of the way I talk. I don't know. They used to tell me actually if I can cut my hair, and maybe it fixes the situation. And yeah.
Because you had long hair at that time as well.
Yeah. Because shaving machines are so dirty, I didn't want to use them. Yeah. And then
but you didn't.
I didn't use them, no. And then I didn't know I have curly hair. So the detention center helped me to realize that I have curly hair as well. Yeah.
Can I show you some more pictures that you drew?
Yeah, this is like a kind of exhibition I had. This cartoon with my drawings. And I got in trouble with this character because somebody else thought I'm drawing him, and he started punching my face. And but it was me actually.
Yeah, right.
And I always had this singlet with the smiley face and with the blue shorts. So if you look at my character, he's always got a yellow shirt with a smiley face on it and blue shorts. Even if it's suit or anything, it's yellow and blue. And that's also my character in the middle. And I did that cartoon about Cast Away, the movie, which is Cast Away passed away. And then we had security guards. They were called Wilsons, and like they were called Wilson Security. Like the company was Wilson, like the Wilson in the movie. And I also drew the Wilson there, and yeah.
And when did you choose to call yourself a eaten fish?
Oh, that I tell that at the end.
Yeah. But this sounds familiar in a way.
Is it? Yeah, we are cartoonists, we are strange people, and we don't make sense a lot of times. And we find people who don't make sense at all, easily.
That are even worse than you?
Yeah, they're even worse than us. So we try to show them that we are not alone. Yeah. And I used to be called Arifur Rahman 5 for 5 years, military code, which is Romo Uniform Foxtrot 115. And I had this ID card with me. If I didn't have this, I wouldn't get food. And then I had to carry it everywhere with me, and it was like, it's part of my life, you know. I still have it like beside my bed anytime I want to sleep. I look at it first and then I sleep. And then, I did this cartoon because I was so sick and I didn't want to be the next. We had a lot of people getting ill and dying there. And then I didn't want to be the next, and so I did that cartoon with my ID card, which is like a refugees processing center, but I changed it to graveyard processing center.
But you were, even though you were that ill as you have told us, you were still sure that you wanted to live.
I didn't want to kill myself. If I wanted to kill myself, I would stay back home.
Sorry, what did you say?
If I wanted to kill myself, I would stay back home.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course. But then things started to happen. There were demonstrations, asking for you getting free.
Yeah, one of my wishes came true in my life. I had two wishes, being a filmmaker and being a cartoonist when I was a child. And this came true in a horrible situation, but one day I woke up and a lot of people were talking about me, doing a lot of protests in Australia about me, and on the news, and I was like, I had my signature now, you know. Of course it was a bad situation, but I didn't want to kill myself, so I could believe that this caused me to believe that I could draw and more and make something out of it. And yeah, a lot of people started protesting in 2016, especially after July 2016, because I was published in Guardian, a different press in Australia. And then, but nobody knew my face, my own face, so they knew my character and my name. And in 2016 September, I won, you know, Robert Russell, who helped him. He's actually our father, and he helped me as well. Okay. And he got to know me after I was published in Australia. And then they were looking for me and searching about me on the press and a lot of stuff. And in September 2006, I won the award for the year, cartooning award for the year from United States. And then that made so much problem for me in the island because I was in isolation. I was living with soldiers. I didn't have any friends, and I was living in a room with the camera all the time on, and I wasn't allowed to leave because if I wanted to leave, I wasn't safe. Not only from locals, but also from my own people. And then, so, yeah, Robert Russell, Guardian friend I had, cartoonist, he was the main person who published me in Guardian first. And he sent me this phone one day in 2016 when we were allowed to have phone. And then I did a lot of cartoons on this phone, like most of my cartoons, digital cartoons are done in this phone. And this was like my best friend. I had 3 friends in Australia, and if I didn't have this, I couldn't communicate with them. And then this is like, I didn't even want to change it. It was so broken, and I tried to repair it instead of changing it. And then so it's like a treasure, my own, for my memory. And yeah. So Robert Russell decided to work on my case and in 2016, and they told me that they were going to take me out of there, but they didn't tell me when, and I wasn't really having any hope on it. And in Christmas 2016, there was another refugee who died, and I did a cartoon about him, straight away published in Guardian in the Christmas Day, and I published all the conversations between the security guards, and that made personal problem this time with the individuals. And they started harassing me, like the people who were supposed to... The guards started harassing you. Mm. And I did another hunger strike to stop that. I didn't want to get freedom, just wanted to stop the harassment from them. And for 22 days, and then a lot of big campaigns happened in Australia and United States and other parts of the world to save me. And then that time I got in touch with Icon, but I didn't know who they are, where they are. They just told me they're going to help me. One email that they were going to help me. And I got physically damaged after the hunger strike, and I was so sick. I got another email from icon again, that they wanted to have my documents to work on my case, and but no hope. So I didn't know when and where. And I was moved to a capital city in Papua New Guinea, to a hospital to get healed because of physical damages. And then I was there for about a month. It's a very dangerous country. It's not civilized. And a lot of cannibalism, you can find a lot of different parts.
Cannibalism?
Cannibalism, yeah. And very old history, but very dangerous to be in. And yeah, I got email from Norwegian immigration that they welcomed me when I was in hospital, but I was really sick. And also at the same time, I got offer from modeling company in China because of my hair when I was in jail. And then because I had the phone smuggling, and I used to take my photos and publish them on my Instagram and hidden Instagram. And then they contacted me, and I thought I was in hospital, bleeding and so much problem. And they told me that are you happy to be published? And I thought they were making fun of me, and they were trying to make up stories to just record my voice and then send it out. And they said, we are really interested on your hair. I said, only hair? Really? Nothing else? They said, no, your hair is really cool. And then they published, when I was in jail and Norway was working on my case to bring me out, I was published in China, all over China, in a magazine, as a model, on the cover of a magazine.
Because of your beautiful hair.
And then I was in jail at the same time. I didn't have access to the magazine myself, And that was a funny story at the end before I come to Norway.
Funny and rather absurd, I would say. But so is the rest of your story.
Well, it's sad because they just want my hair, nothing else. And that's sad as well. Yeah, but it was funny because I had to stop them from also publishing me everywhere for 2 months because Norway told me to be quiet until they get options to take me out of there. And I had to stop the companies to work on my photos and stop the press. So that was the time France 24 started publishing news that nobody knows where he is, and I was I was lost for 2 months. And then I got to Norway safely. And Norway has done a really good job. I had no idea what was happening. I had no idea about my process, nothing. And I had no hope on it, And then Norway made this process as smooth as possible for me to come to Norway. And yeah, so I'm so proud of it.
Yeah, proud and we are very impressed that you made it here.
I'm actually, as Arifur said, he was so lucky to keep alive, and I was the same. Australian government, they don't kill, they let you die. Yeah. And they let you kill yourself, and they publish the news, don't go to Australia. If you go to Australia, this happens to you. And anytime I had, I was in my country, freedom of speech in my country, I experienced it. And I experienced the same in a Western country as well. Like Australia, land of opportunities. And Australia was the worst experience for me about freedom of speech. Because anytime they give you a chance to talk, they give you a chance to be published, they make you famous. But then they use you as commercial. Anytime you have interview, they add another paragraph from the government. Don't go to Australia, this happens. They show you first and then they use the policy. And I remember one time, too many times actually, not one time. I talked to Guardian and BBC, they wanted to interview me. And then they wanted to interview me. And I asked them not to publish this paragraph when you have interview with me. I don't want that paragraph to be published from the government. They couldn't do it. They didn't interview me. They didn't like to interview me because I wasn't happy with that paragraph. And then, so I had experience in a Western country. They always talk about freedom. Yeah.
But they didn't live by the...
They didn't know. They even could, if I wanted to listen to them, they would give me the voice. If I didn't want to listen to them, they make you famous. And a lot of people lie. They think if they lie, they can get released faster. And then so Australia is waiting for them to make them famous, liars, And then they use them against refugees, that they are liars. They have proof that they are lying, and then the people slowly they get like they get the hate for immigrants, as the law comes out, they publish it, and now after a year another law comes out. Australian government is like, yeah, publish it, no worries, just let them talk as much as it goes. You know, when you go to a community and you are the clever one, you sit down and you just let them talk, you know. You just say, let them talk to see how far they go, you know. Australia is like that, you know, let them talk to see how far they go. And then when they go to the station, to the stage that Australia needs to put them down, they show private documents online that this refugee was lying to, I don't know, to prove something, I don't know. And now we are showing that he's lying. So the people who are following the refugee, because the news from the government is also published from beside the refugee article. So people read that and read the government and they see the proof, so they start hating the asylum seekers and immigrants. They say like they're all liars, you know. And then, so, am I allowed to talk?
Yeah, I think we need to move on, unfortunately. But you will stay on, and then hopefully we'll have some time for questions.
Yeah, okay.
But I'm not sure if we should give you a big hand because it feels wrong, but still it's the only way we can express the impression that you've given us so far. So I guess we will give you an applause. But yeah. Welcome on stage Fadi and Marvin to continue the talk on, and a few move down, they will move up. We'll see.
I'm curious.
Of the story. Maybe we should try to get back to that. Yeah.
1 minute.
1 minute. Yeah. But we can, that will keep the audience in the room, as if they would leave. Fadi, we won't go through your whole story because then it will take all the time. But you're a refugee from Syria. Yes. And you also provided us with some drawings I will show. Yeah. This is a nice one.
Yes.
Yeah.
About climate change and about
because you've been drawing and engaged in climate change, and yes, that's one of your topics, so to say.
Yes, because excuse me. First, good evening. Because we live in now, our world is very, very crazy. And we have many problems about environment, about political leaders, about many things. We have many troubles in our world now. For that, I support by my drawing environment, human rights, many things. Yes.
And the next one also is. It's part of the world we're living in, a crazy world.
Our privacy in digital area or in Facebook era, because we have not special live now with network or with the social media networks. Everything is open.
So your laundry all your laundry is published,
Yes. And this cartoon I won the third prize in Italy last September with the contest about digital era. Yes.
Yeah, and yes, here we are in Syria.
Our main problem in Syria, not since from 2011, our problem with the Al-Ba'ath party started from 1963. This party occupied the authority in Syria by military power, and sorry, I'm sorry in English. After 1963, we have not normal life. Everything under control. Everything you need to agreement from secret service. Yeah, and Bashar al-Assad, he is big, or he is how can I describe this man? oh my God, he is mad man and he is criminal man. Yeah. And now it's a strange matter.
Was this drawn?
Yes, this draw I drew in 2011 when I was in Syria.
Yeah.
But excuse me, the original cartoons not by Bashar al-Assad.
He wasn't
because
there.
I cannot because
that's my question.
Yeah.
That would be a bit dangerous.
The original cartoon I drew by general face.
Okay.
Yes.
So when you left Syria, you changed the face then?
Yes, in Norway here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, in 2014 I renewed this cartoon. Yeah. Yes. No entry about freedom of speech in our Middle East. Generally, we have not freedom of expression. And for example, now we saw what happened with the Saudi journalist in Turkey.
Khashoggi.
Yes,
yeah.
That's so horrible.
And that is actually the theme for his last column in Washington Post that was published today. Is the lack of freedom in in all the countries in the Middle East. Yeah. And there's some of the same, I guess.
Yes, on the fire, on the line of fire. Yes, about our cartoonists, we paid high price just for our cartoons. Yes, and just for our free minds. Yeah, and
can you explain, just because that's the core of the problem? Why?
Why? This question not for me, for dictatorship. Or for extremism. Why, I don't know exactly, but they don't like a joke, maybe. They don't
because
like,
then we're back to the cat.
Criticize, yeah, maybe.
It would be easier to just say, oh, it's just a cat. But is it a willingness to create problems around the drawing, you think?
Yes. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yes.
Back in the environment?
Yes, about the environment, and this cartoon I won prize in World Cartoon Press in Portugal last June. It's a very big festival and very important festival, and actually this cartoon how can I explain about when the idea when I sometimes I cannot sleep, and for that I just sit and drawing, and I saw the zebra on my bonnet, and okay, why if I change the line on this my zebra, and this is cartoon, I make it.
And then you won the prize.
Suddenly,
yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yes,
well, not so nice.
Saudi Arabia. Our big mistake in Middle East is Saudi regime. This regime don't believe on freedom of speech, and they are this regime are under development, and. How can I explain this matter about them? But my God, horrible. And excuse me, this cartoon I draw against the anti-Saudi regime because it's big a joke when I heard Saudi Arabia are leader of Human Rights Council.
Yeah.
And I'm really, when I read this news, really shocking. Saudi Arabia and human rights. This country have not constitution. This country don't believe in democracy. This regime kill everyone. He talk about freedom. For example, what happened with journalist Jamal Khashoggi. And before Jamal Khashoggi in Canada, Badawi, Raif Badawi, yes, and actually they ruled the world. Sometimes I thought about them. They ruled the world by their petrodollar. For example, now Trump he want delete everything about evidence or proofs about
Kosovo.
yes, yeah, just for a transaction with this criminal regime. Yeah.
Does it feel nice to be able to say that bluntly without thinking of any consequences of putting your voice like that? Do you reflect? Do you reflect on what you're saying? I mean, could you have said that when you're back in Syria?
Excuse me.
What you just said.
Say that on the stage. In Syria.
What you just said on the Saudi regime. Could you have said that on the stage in Syria?
No.
No.
No, I cannot because. Yeah.
Yeah. Does it feel okay to be able to say it?
I cannot criticize, not in Syria alone, or not in Syria, everywhere in Middle East. We cannot talk freely. We have not freedom of expression. This is very, very basic and essential thing in the life. We lose this.
How does it feel to be able to sit on a stage and say it?
How?
How does it feel to then be able to say what you're saying?
Here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Excuse me. Actually, freedom is the Norway for me. Freedom is freedom of expression is Norway, and Norway is freedom of expression. I cannot imagine Norway without freedom of expression, and for that I can draw against anyone, and I can criticize from here, from Norway. How? Oh my God! Sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, about this cartoon. Actually, for many aims about these cartoons, about harassment, about Me Too campaign in America and anti-Trump, about freedom of women in Arab world, and the title of this cartoon, go ahead. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, this cartoons I have bad memory because this cartoons cause I was arrested because of this cartoons, and
You was arrested because of this?
yes, because they wrote a report against me about I charge, or my charge in Syria. I draw against the system in Syria, but
did you realize that it was a very bold
yes,
drawing when you did it?
I have bad experience with this matter, with this cartoon, because I don't mean about against the regime, but so.
No, it's okay. I'll take up the next one. Yeah, if you don't want to explain. Is this also difficult for you to talk about?
Yes, Mr. Orange. Yes, he's a big joke, really.
Yeah.
Yes, and I am really, I cannot, sometimes I can't sleep because I thought about he is ruled the world. How he is president of America, big country and madman. Oh my God. Really big joke.
Yeah.
Yes. About look the name, the title of this cartoon, location. Because every refugee, I was a refugee before I came to Norway. I lived as a refugee in Syria for 42 years ago as a refugee. But now I am Norwegian citizen. Thank you for Norway for this matter. And actually, every refugee, he have big dream. What is this dream? Safe place, flag, homeland. Yes, and now we see what happened about European Union closed borders and many troubles. And, yeah. Yes.
I see that we are running a bit out of time.
Yes, how we can sleep.
But, yeah.
How we can sleep, and in our world, 14,000 weapons, rockets. How we can sleep, I don't know.
No.
But 14,000 nuclear
weapons.
Yes,
Yeah.
rockets and weapons over the world. Yes, we are under threat. Yes, Bashar al-Assad again, and the tsunami of Syrian blood. But actually, after Russian support him, I think the blood delete and clean. Yes, this is yesterday I drew about our colleague, Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi, and the free pen bigger than all of their money, all of their weapons, all of their impressions. Yes, they've offered from pen. Yeah. Yes, Mr. Orange again. Yes, he's actually. I would like to tell you, after Trump became president, we have very business, and we have very chance for drawing this man, because he's very joke. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a big joke, but nothing to laugh of.
Yes.
But here's you then.
Øystein.
Yeah.
Yes, my friend. He's a famous actor. Yes. Yeah. Not for me.
Here we're over to Marvin's drawing, and Marvin and I we made earlier today, and you said what will be my role in this panel?
Yeah.
I'm the privileged one, and I said yes.
Yeah, I'm a
you will
strange
be the
pearl in this
yes,
flock.
you're the strange pearl, but you are the privileged one in this
Yes.
session. But does that make you more brave when you draw? Do you think?
No, it doesn't make me more brave, but I think it's really interesting to listen to these guys here, and I think I have a totally different situation, and up till now it's been really extremely different from these what they are witnessing. Yeah, vittnesbörd. Yeah, but at the same time, things that have happened the last years make you think that it may be not like this forever. Things are changing, and we see colleagues in countries that is natural to compare with, like in Germany and the United States and Turkey and Russia. Things that are happening to, I don't know if we can compare us with Russia and Turkey, but you understand what I mean. Like there was an old cartoonist in a newspaper in the US who lost his job. He was sacked because he had made a cartoon of Donald Trump, and it was nothing very. To our standard here, it was not so controversial. It was, yeah, it's a nice drawing of Donald Trump. I mean, I've done worse.
But he hasn't seen them.
No,
He didn't see them.
no.
Yeah.
But that makes you think, and you know what these my colleagues here have been going through, and you know that you can't count on that this will be the future. Like we have
Are you saying that you're afraid?
Maybe a bit pessimistic in a way, maybe.
But are you saying that you're afraid that being a cartoonist in Norway can become increasingly also more controversial when we see the development around us?
How do you say male fanden på veggen? I don't know that. Ingrid, you have an expression in English. I don't know. But
to do. To do the devil on the wall or something like that, I guess. Yeah.
What was your question?
My question was, when you see the development around us, pretty close around us, are you afraid that being a cartoonist in Norway will become also increasingly controversial?
Yeah, I think so. It might become more controversial, and I think there are things that have happened like this. There been some debates around some cartoons. Mostly not from Norway, but also we had this cartoon from Graff.
Let's take the recent one when Finn Graff drew a swastika-figured man, and created lots of debate on from the Mosaic Society.
Well, that maybe it's not the best example because.
Why is that?
It's an example, but maybe not the best because it's easy to understand that it can be very emotional, and you can understand the strong feelings on both sides, and sort of. Because of this mix of symbols, yes, with the swastika and the Holocaust and Israel and things like that. It's when you have been doing this kind of work some years, you know that this is. It's a difficult topic.
But when you see that controversy that kind of drawing creates, do you think the debate as such will self-censorship you in the next round?
Maybe, I don't know if it will. But I have one cartoon here in this that I put in here just as an example. You can move on next one. This one, yes. It has to do with this. You're using this. In Norway we say Hitler. You do Hitler and a person. I made this of Gert Wilders a few years ago, and I was criticized for it, and maybe rightly, but. I'm not so scared to be provocative. I think that's a part of a job, and I'm not so scared that people are getting upset, and because it starts. I'm not just afraid of debate, and I think that's a good thing. And I don't really say that I don't say he's a Nazi, but you could say that this drawing says he is Nazi. But what I mean with this drawing is when he is breaking these, I don't know what to call it, wings or whatever.
On the windmill,
on the windmill. There's things with his politics that resembles it. Yes. So I think that's a good thing about the way we work. Is that we can. We're not stating things, but we are. It's hard to find the words. Antyda. How would you say that?
Signalized or hinting.
Hinting, yes, sort of. But the problem is that when I've been doing this drawing, that's what I mean. It's you get the association of, you get the feeling of. It reminds me of something that we've seen before and what it can lead to. Yes? But the thing is, when people are telling stories about this drawing, they can say what I really meant when I made it. It's that's the dangerous thing. And with this Finn Graff drawing, it was this combination, of course, of swastika, which is in this drawing here also.
But let me ask you, have you drawn other have you been Hitlering after this as well?
I'm sorry to say, maybe not after, but I've done it some times, and maybe I should stop doing it. I don't know, but I see there's a huge difference if you talk about these two drawings, because there, I mean, 6 million Jews were killed, and I see that's.
Which was one of the arguments in the debate.
Of course, yeah. I understand that, and so we have to. Sometimes we have to be on the edge, and sometimes we fall over the wrong side. I don't know if Finn did that, but that's a price you have to pay, and I think we should be on the edge. And I think
otherwise, it will be boring.
Yeah, and I think it's like also this drawing from this Australian cartoonist that suddenly went viral. He was making a cartoon of Serena Williams, and some prominent and famous people from around the world was saying that it was a racist drawing. And it was really huge suddenly, and I didn't like that drawing especially. I don't think it was a genius or especially good, but it's sort of the story that people tell about the drawing sort of defines the drawing, and that's a bit scary, because I'm afraid that. Drawings that I've been making in the past, because after this drawing in this cartoon, in this Australian cartoon, there was I saw there was a tour in Facebook. How do you say that?
A thread.
A thread in Facebook. Some cartoonist making tegneserier. The cartoon.
Yeah, cartoon.
And they were discussing if we, because of the features they had been drawing Serena Williams with, and they meant it was like a sambo drawing, which is sort of a style from which was is quite it's a racist sort of the way to depict black people. Yes. Yeah. And they meant it was made in this particular style.
So it was a deliberate. It's important to criticize religion as well, being a cartoonist.
My opinion about Muhammad Cartoons first. My opinion about Muhammad Cartoons first. Everyone here is free about what he wants to draw, and before that I am Muslim. And my religion forbidden drawing prophets or angels and gods. For that, I grew up in house respect this matter. But about my opinion about this matter, everyone here is free to draw what he wants. After Charlie Hebdo attack. We must be careful, because why? Because we have behind our pens, the enemies behind our pens. They are many. We don't know who is with us. We don't know who is with against us, and we need after Charlie Hebdo attacks. We need two things. First, encouragement, and second, wisdom.
Wisdom.
Yes, wisdom. We need it, because now we see what over the world, the crazy leaders, and they are destroyed every bridge between others, and we need to wisdom. We need for what? For building sorry, just a minute. For building the bridge between people, between forfulgte cultures. Yes, we need to
so we need to
peace. We need to love. Yes.
So what you say is that we should be careful not to criticize religion by drawing, treating religious as a special case when you are a cartoonist.
So sorry, no comment.
No, yes, Marvin, what do you think about?
No,
some will say what some will call blasphemy, but others will think is natural criticism of religion.
Well, I think this limitation, especially with the drawing the prophet, is I don't know if me, for instance, I've never thought that I would like to make a drawing of the prophet. I haven't needed it in my job, sort of, and most of my colleagues would say the same. But I think it's very sad that if you do it, you're risking your life and you're risking your family's life, maybe. And that, in some way, that's a limitation of on this freedom of speech or expression, and that's very sad, because I think if it was possible to do it without risking your life, I don't think people would, in that extent. And it's the same with this blasphemy, reintroducing this blasphemy paragraph, and I don't think we need it, because you I don't see that much blasphemy that it should be a problem for religious people. I grew up as a Christian boy, yes, from a very conservative.
Kloppen?
Yeah, actually, you knew that?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, in very conservative.
I've heard it. No,
yeah, you heard
it.
Excuse me, I want to add
Yes.
one point.
Yeah,
About,
sorry.
we should be differently. I'm so sorry. Separated or differently between bad acts of religious men and between the pure spirit of religions. That is very important matter, because I believe on all of religions comes from one source, is Allah or God. And but some of religious men, they make or use the religions as tools for their benefits. Sorry, and they make as Allah in the earth, over the earth. You are kafir. You are not. You are. We should be focused on this point. Do you understand me, or?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I'm not sure, but what you're saying is that we should differentiate between the religion and the
for me,
and the priests.
My opinion,
Yeah.
my opinion about drawings about religions. That is for me is wrong or mistake, because this matter. How can so sorry.
No problem.
Alle på norsk.
Yep.
Yeah.
Excuse me, can I?
Yeah. If you can, yeah,
Yes,
sure,
please.
sure. Marvin, you
Actually,
were about to-
yes.
If I can say something, if you're looking for
Yes,
while you're looking.
Yeah, we are
Okay.
about to.
Mary
Yes,
sent
yeah.
me
Okay,
sent
so-
me question is what about self-censorship and chilling effect after attack and harsh criticism on drawings. My answer, we must be very careful more than before. The enemies behind your or our pens are many. They want to mount the mouth of freedom by terrorism, by violence, by hatred, by racism and dictatorship. I think after Charlie Hebdo attack, we need to wisdom too. We need to build bridge of mutual respect with others, and we must differentiate. Yes, between acts of the religious men and the spirit of pure religions, because the spirit religions are very pure, cool to love, cool to peaceful between people, as look like Jesus, as look like Moses, as look like Muhammad too, because they are came by holy books, and this books talk about equal between people, equal peaceful between people. Yes, and these religions that are of one source is Allah or God. It's very important. I think so that. Yeah, this is my opinion.
I'll just show a few more of your drawings.
Yeah. This is not mine.
This is not yours, no.
I just have to say, but I was asked
to bring one inspiration.
Frank, he's Frank Hoffman.
Yes, yes.
German.
He's a German cartoonist. Yeah.
Yeah, but you wanted to make a comment before the last.
Yes, well, I'm very concerned of this thing that the stories you tell about a cartoon is. I was talking about this thread because I want to go back to that one, because they were talking about Stefan Kverneland. He said that, but I made a drawing of Bob Dylan, and he's a Jew, obviously. But what they were talking about was, can you draw his nose? You may laugh of it, but it's not really funny, because I've been accused for being anti-Semitic because I just made a random person with a big nose. It was not about a Jew, but this is a.
So we're becoming too sensitive?
It is, yeah, and lots of these people on the thread meant you should avoid drawing his nose. And I think that's a bit scary. I've been drawing, I just finished an exhibition, I've been drawing Leonard Cohen, Bob Dylan, Amy Winehouse. I've been drawing Baldwin, who is an Afro-American person. If someone takes my drawing, which I made some years ago, and say, this drawing is racist, this is anti-Semitic because of this and that, how can I defend myself? And so very much the story you tell about the drawing, I think that's a scary part, because these people get very offended, and it's a fairly new thing, I think. And what I'm scared of, it's not that that I get into trouble. That's okay, but that my editor in the newspaper and the owners of this media company like Schibsted, which I work
in trouble too.
They will say, we don't want this fuss, we don't want this, because we won't have any drawing that can be regarded as racist or anti-Semitic. And I don't say that you shouldn't. I think we are quite aware of this problem. We are concerned about racism and those topics. I talk with the serious here, and yeah. So this is things that we are talking about. We are aware of this. We are scared of it. But what's scary about this is that we will be limited, like we see in the US now and other countries. And that's, I think that's also the problem if this blasphemy paragraph will
yeah.
reintroduced, because I don't think actually, I don't think we need it, and we can have respect for each other without that paragraph. I think so. And
Well,
it can be misused, I think, to limit journalism and writing and cartoons. Yeah.
I wish we could have ended with a lot more of positive energy. I'm sorry I'm not able to do that because we ran out of time 15 minutes ago, I think.
Yeah, sorry.
So no, don't be sorry. I think, speaking on behalf at least of some here, I think you've given us very huge impressions, and thank you so much for sharing and taking the energy to share your experiences. There is just 1 minute left, only 1 minute left to explain. Is it worthwhile, you think, to listen to why you were called what you're called?
Or maybe.
Okay.
I don't really know.
No. You can do it that, and I will also mention that Fritt Ord has a competition this year among high school students, videregående skole, som handler om å tegne. Og det er også MBL har en skoleaksjon om tegning. So let's hope that they will be courageous and also necessarily cautious, obviously. Please.
I can start now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate fish. I don't eat fish at all. My name is Eaten Fish. So it's like eaten already. So I don't want to have any more. Eaten fish comes because I was traveled to Australia by boats.
The 60 days?
Fishing boats, yeah. And Australia caught me, like you go fishing. And they caught me, and then they ate me, like processing. And then they throw me away like fish bones, throw it away. And my signature says it, like fish bones. So it's like you got caught from the sea and then eaten, processed, and then thrown away in exile. That's where my name comes from.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, it summed up everything, I think. Thank you.
Just 1 second. I'm gonna keep you there for just 1 second, because obviously we're very appreciative of you sharing your story. It's very moving, all of you. And we had just a little something for everyone who participated, and this is obviously notebooks, and they have no lines because you guys draw. And it's an encouragement for you, Kjersti, to draw as well. So thank you very much.
Absolutely not.
Thank you very much, everyone who participated, and thank you for showing up. And hopefully we'll see you again soon.